Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Veronica and I'm an ISTP. So I'm actually getting married in less than 2 months and my fiance is an INTJ. And so I just wanted to make this video kind of dealing with the very initial stages of a relationship in the sense of how did I determine if we were compatible? And was MBTI involved in that at all? So I definitely always imagined myself with someone of his worldview and values, but I definitely did not imagine myself with an INTJ. I'm not sure exactly what type I did imagine, but I know specifically I thought I would not work well together with an INTJ. And that wasn't necessarily based on anything anyone else said or even any real experience to know that it wouldn't work. It's just something that I had concluded in my own mind. And so obviously I'm very glad I didn't use MBTI in order to determine if I should be in a relationship with someone. I had a different system for deciding that. And so I would definitely recommend that no one use MBTI to determine if you should start a relationship with someone. It's not that it's useless. I think it's actually been really helpful for fostering a healthy relationship, but it's just not that helpful for deciding who to start a relationship with. So these are the 5 categories I used to help determine if I was compatible with my now fiance. And a lot of this is stuff that we actually talked about before we even started dating, which I know is way earlier than most people would talk about these things. But he actually brought most of them up. That's probably not a surprise. But also some of them are things that we talked about as time progressed. So number 1 is basic attraction. Are you drawn to them at all? Do you enjoy their presence? Do you look forward to seeing them? You definitely don't need to be totally enamored by them. In fact, it's probably good if you're not totally enamored by them. But you want a certain degree of actual attraction to this person. And the only flip side of that is that oftentimes people have very unrealistic expectations for who their partner is going to be and what they're going to be like and how they're going to feel around their partner. And so to those people, I would say you don't necessarily need to just start dating someone you're not attracted to, but maybe you should take some time to yourself to really evaluate your standards and your ideals and, shift your mindset a bit. All right, and number 2 is religion. So this is something that I've had a lot of people tell me is, something you could just appreciate about each other or learn about each other and accept about each other. But the reality is that religion is a huge driver in a person's worldviews, the way they make decisions, and the kind of decisions they make. And so while, yes, it's totally reasonable to be able to be close friends with someone of a different religion, it's another thing to be a life partner with someone of a different religion. And so this is just something where you want, if someone's going to be your life teammate, you want to be working together and moving in the same direction, not butting heads and fighting against each other in your decision making. All right, number 3 is politics. And so kind of similar to religion, this is something I've heard you can just accept about each other. I've heard of many situations where people of completely different views have a relationship and it seems to work out okay. But my caution here would be, when you're just with one other person, when you're with your partner, you might feel totally in love and it might be okay. But if you bring children into the picture, suddenly other people are being affected by this. And by that I mean that if you can't agree at all on how a country should be governed and what values should be enforced, it's really hard for me to imagine that you can really come together as teammates to agree on how a family should be run and what values should be instilled in your children. All right, number 4 It's values. So this can include politics and religion, but also more things like your views on family, children, and work. And so, for example, maybe you think that an ideal partner is someone who supports you and you support them in pursuing your careers. But maybe your partner is actually someone that really, really wants a family and wants children and even wants to stay home to raise the children. And again, you can just try to accept each other, but the reality is you just have values that aren't compatible. And if both of you are so set in your ways on this, like, there's no reason you have to just make that work. All right, number 5 is interests. So it's perfectly healthy to have individual interests, but if you don't have anything that you enjoy doing together, it's just going to be hard to really get to know each other, to spend time together, and eventually to merge your lives as one. So my main point here is that you shouldn't be using MBTI to determine compatibility. And I think it definitely does affect the kind of people you enjoy and the way you enjoy people, but it's nowhere close to being a reliable system for determining compatibility. And I know with my INTJ fiance, I definitely never imagined myself being in a relationship like this, and it's unique from other people's relationships, but it works, and that's okay. And it's like you might have in your mind an idea of, well, if I'm with this kind of person, if I'm with this personality type, this is what my relationship will look like, and that's the kind of relationship I want. And maybe there's truth in that. Maybe you do understand that about yourself and you're not totally wrong, but I would be careful about that because sometimes you don't know what's best for you, and you don't really know that until you're in it and you figure that out for yourself. And so, I would recommend, if you feel that attraction towards someone, if you have some sort of desire to date someone, don't shut it down or cut it off because you think that it wouldn't work personality-wise because of their type. Instead, if you share those 5 core areas of compatibility, go for it and enjoy the process, and then decide for yourself if that's the kind of relationship you want to be in, and if you really enjoy this person. So to close, I'm going to leave you with some INTJ thoughts on relationships and marriage, because my fiance's view on this has really impacted mine. And I always had a little bit more of a logical approach towards everything with this, but not to the extreme that he does. And so his main philosophy on this is that marriage at its core is a functional institution. And so you need to focus on not just finding love, but finding something that will function properly, finding a partnership that will function properly. And kind of by that, I mean that, having a marriage partner is someone who's not only a companion, but also a teammate to face life with together and to help each other out, to, lift each other's just like daily burdens and like work together to help with that. Also someone to contend with so that you have 2 minds putting forth ideas, and that helps you come to better understandings, better conclusions, and better decisions than you would if you were just on your own. And then one of the most important functions of a marriage is to create and raise children for the next generation. And so in order to have an effective partnership in all of these areas, you need to have someone that you share this common, solid foundation with. And then deep love and friendship are built on top of that foundation. And so while it's totally natural and normal to want to feel that easy, immediate chemistry and love, the reality is that a real lasting chemistry and love are going to be built upon a solid common foundation. So that's all I've got. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, if I get around to it, I want to make some more videos maybe on what my relationship is actually like with an INTJ. But leave a comment and let me know what you think.